All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. And today I have my lovely, powerful, beautiful, gorgeous goddess girlfriend with me. She is a powerful Reiki master and a powerful healer, but I'm going to go ahead and let her take the mic and have her explain what all she does.
Well, I am the beautiful girlfriend of Ryan, whose name is Erin. But I am a psychic Reiki master, and a lot of you may be wondering, like, what is psychic? What are psychic abilities? And this is something that we've been defined growing up, having one linear definition of. But if you are in the energy healing realm, you know psychic is a gray area because everyone taps into it differently. And for me, I tap into guides. I communicate with guides. I communicate with my clients' guides and bridge that information for them to understand and really reconfirm things that they're already feeling and knowing within, and just confirming to their present self that they're on the right track. And for me, I do Reiki within these realms. It's kind of hard to explain, but I like to explain that when I'm doing distance Reiki and sometimes even in-person Reiki, I'm remote view and do Reiki more in the psychic realms of the subconscious and tapping into the higher dimensions when I do Reiki.
And for those of you that never really experienced Reiki or just any type of Reiki that's outside the norm, let me tell you, it is something special. Even when you're just looking at it from the outside and you're not even receiving it, you will receive it from in the room. So with that being said, her and I, we have been doing, or have been trying to do, a series on masculine
and feminine within.
Yeah, sorry.
For literally like the last 8 months.
Like 8 months, and this is our shot at doing it. We just decided to just go ahead and do it. Well, I did, and I'm just dragging her along. But recently we made a Reiki reel that talked about the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And we figured we will want to expand that a little bit more because a lot of people don't know how to tap into that feminine side or masculine side.
And their personal counterpart of what they choose. Because let's be honest, and we all know that our physical body is not definition of the energy that you operate in. And I want to be very open about that because just because I'm feminine, physical body does not mean I choose to operate in my feminine energy at all times or majority of the time.
Mm-hmm. And it's the same with me. Most of you guys that already know me and been following me on this channel for a long time know that I tap into my feminine side of the energy. I don't always stick to the masculine of things, and you guys seen how easily I can flow instead of just being that hard, strict, hard on myself, keeping my emotions in. Honestly, there's a balance when it comes to the masculine and the feminine energy. Like, if you don't have that balance, you will forever feel leaning to like a ship sinking with water on one side of the ship, basically. Mm-hmm. So,
and the important part of that is it's not about learning the counterpart. It's learning how to balance the whole, because the masculine cannot be its full, authentic, divine masculine without the divine feminine. And vice versa, the divine feminine cannot be her authentic, full expression of her divine feminine without the masculine. They are a whole and they make a whole. Yet they're both individuals. They bring individual energy, but when you put them together and you balance the two and understand when one's being asked to be presented in a time of energy or a time of healing, that's the part that you want to tap into, is understanding when one of the counterpart is being presented of needing balanced or healing or to help support energy that is being brought up, especially when it comes to, I'll be honest, masculine energy. In the energy healing world, most of the feminine energy understand how to heal. They understand how to support each other, especially in a group setting. And what really breaks my heart is men are shunned out of those healing circles, where in society right now, the most area needing some understanding and attention is the divine masculine, because it's so out of balance right now. That's making the feminine within also balanced. Does that mean that we fully need to focus on the divine masculine? No, it's understanding how to focus on both counterparts equally within ourselves to understand what part of ourselves even needs healed.
Definitely. And recently I made a post seeking out some practitioners for the Healing Circle. And I've noticed that it was a lot of divine feminine that have reached out back to me, and no divine masculine. So
And there's nothing bad about that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, there's nothing bad about that. But what got me curious is to know, and I know that there is a lot of divine masculine practitioners out there, no matter what they do. For some reason, they feel secretive
Or
and
unsafe
to come out and expand and be a part of a group that can heal people. And I was like, okay, so why is that? Someone that is reaching in that path, they know that they need to be in their divine feminine in order to move forward. But what is keeping them from actually moving forward?
The conditioning of being a man, the conditioning of growing up having to look and be a certain way, and when you're not being in that box, you'll be
stuck. Because we all know as a man that as soon as we are born, we are conditioned to be that specific provider. And don't get this confused. Yes, each specific energy, the divine feminine, divine masculine, has their specific role, but it doesn't have to be just stationary on that role. So of course, the man is the provider, the sentinel, the protector, and all that other stuff, but you don't just have to be that. You can leak into wanting to be safe, being nurtured, being emotional, and all that stuff. So going back to what I was saying is it's kind of concerning to me how most of the men healer, the medicine men, or whatever spiritual practice that they do, are not really leaking into that true divine femininity.
I think for me, so let's backtrack a little bit. So I remember posting something about the divine masculine, and trigger warning, a lot of people were triggered that I wasn't focused on the feminine energy that needs to be healed. For me personally, there was a reason why I was focusing on the masculine energy, because the main reason the feminine energy is so out of balance and needing healing and seeking healing is because the masculine energy within is actually the one that needs most healing, because of how unbalanced society is within our masculine energy and how much toxicity our masculine energy is operating out of right now, providing the unbalance of the feminine energy within. And I had a lot of people comment on that post about how the feminine energy was stripped their power, and it's not necessarily, yes, there is some truth to that, but it's not the full truth. The full truth is that the men that have taught us women, whether that be your biological dad, grandpa, any male figure in your life that taught you this masculine energy within, is teaching you I shouldn't say teaching you, may have taught you some of that toxic masculinity, because of that's all they knew. And it's not their fault. There's no fault to any of this. This is how we were programmed for many generations at this point. But it's not just the feminine energy that was stripped from their power, because the masculine energy is not divine. It's not pure right now. And our divine feminine energy is really seeking that balance for her to be able to embrace and express her goddess energy, but she can't without her counterpart. And this is where a lot of people get confused because of the the trauma that have come from the divine masculine energy being so out of balance is that they automatically think it's the feminine energy that needs healing, when on some level that is true, but it is more so the masculine that needs healing. Because in any men in your life, do they actually feel safe to come and express their vulnerability? I would say on a percentage level, that percentage is very low, because men are conditioned that they are weak, or that the main one is weakness when they show vulnerability. And the funny thing is, let's be honest, when you show your vulnerability, that's actually showing how much strength you have to open and express and release. And you're actually weaker when you're not being vulnerable.
Because it's easy to be angry and hardened. It's so easy. But it takes strength to express why you are troubled, why you are sad. And going into this, let's take a look at it on a society standpoint. There was once a time where everything was balanced. Both masculine and feminine both had them, both masculine and feminine energy inside of them. They were connected with nature. And then come a time where everything just decided to split. And it was like a spread of disease in a way, to put this for lack of better terms. Masculine energy, the unhealed masculine energy came and pretty much just destroyed the structure of balance. So let's
talk about what is unhealed masculine energy.
Exactly. So from my standpoint of what's an unhealed masculine, rather if it's from a female or a male, is someone that wants to take control, someone that is pretty much power hungry, someone that is hardened, someone that don't want to show emotions, or it can be as extreme as, like I said, taking control, or as little as, I don't know, just being in lack and manipulative.
Yeah. And is that necessarily, quote unquote, a bad thing? No. Again, this topic is a very complex topic, and everything that we say, take with a grain of salt, because whatever resonates is what resonates with you, right? And this is really coming from our research and our own definitions of how we read and experience energy ourselves. But for me, I felt like you hit that right on. And for me, the controlling, the manipulative energy that comes from the toxic masculinity is probably what we are experiencing most as a society right now. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about that, because obviously you guys have experienced that through news, through all of these things.
Left wing, left wing, right wing, pro-life, pro-choice, whatever division that is the control of unhealed masculine, is keeping you split in specific divisions to keep control.
And control over also the feminine energy, because the more we continue to be out of balance within the masculine energy, therefore automatically, law of universe, our divine feminine energy will also be out of line. We won't feel safe to be vulnerable. We won't feel safe to express ourselves. We won't be safe to be sensual. And look what's happened. We are all of that. We aren't safe. For me as a woman, I have been conditioned of the sensuality has to look a certain way, of all of the terms, right? That you are when you are expressing your sensuality. The thing is, we're human. If you see other mammals that are expressing that, do they shun each other for going and having fun, or even having their energy in a certain way? No. We are the only mammals that project that onto each other and project our own insecurities on someone else, especially women who are expressing their divine feminine energy. And if we look at history, if we truly look at history, let's go to Egypt. Let's go to Cleopatra, who used her sensuality and her masculine energy, actually pretty balanced, of utilizing her sensual energy with power, right? Was there some unbalance in that? Well, of course, because we're all human. We all have free will, and energy takes us in different ways. But when we're talking about Cleopatra utilizing her feminine energy and her masculine energy very balanced, we can see that by how she was able to dominate in a very specific way, because it was very feminine energy, yet very masculine energy of dominance.
That masculine was that authority that people respected, not feared her.
Not feared.
I mean, some might have feared, but like
true respect.
True respect. And that was that divine masculine within the divine feminine, like expressing itself. Like, wow, this is someone that's taking lead, taking control, but also showing how to balance that with being soft and nurturing to not just herself, but to the people.
And I think another really good example that is a little bit more modern that we can really relate to is Moana. Like, let's be honest, that is a definition of balanced masculine and feminine energy, the balance of authority, yet the gentleness. The balance of standing firm to what you intuitively feel as a feminine and being unapologetic to getting to that end goal because you know that's where you need to go and that was your purpose. And flowing, and also being unapologetic about other males telling her, not just males, but people, everyone telling her,
father figure, her tribe, all of it.
And let's be honest, that's kind of where we're at in society, is that the masculine energy that's teaching us these things they've been conditioned for so many generations at this point that they aren't able to give that purity of divine masculine energy. And through the journey that Moana had, even though it's a Disney movie, it's the energy that's portrayed within that, within the video, is that she had to go on her own discovery and feeling the contrast of what didn't feel right to understand how to pivot the energy into more of a balance. And the whole movie is really understanding the unbalance and balance of the masculine and feminine within. And I can't remember the names of the goddess.
Let's just say Gaia.
Well, Gaia, and then the volcano.
Which pretty much
is
Gaia.
Yeah.
That shows how the unhealed divine feminine would turn into, and then once it literally pretty much got the heart piece back, it became Gaia, the actual pure divine feminine.
Pure love. Yep. I think we can relate to the masculine energy and the males all around us and the males within ourselves. Is that right now we're operating as a volcano and projecting and blowing up with anything that hits us, anything that triggers us, with not understanding the contrast and the pure love that's being shown on an energetic level for us to understand why it's being boiled up to the surface and how to flow with it, right? And when she got her heart back, she was able to, bloom in the way that she was beforehand with that pure divine feminine energy.
And look how that itself, not only did it transform her, but it was beneficial for everything else around too. Not saying that what you personally need to do for yourself, you need to do for everyone, but at the same time, it affects everyone around you. It's like a ripple effect.
It's a consciousness. Yep. It's the 100 monkey experiment that we're all connected, yet we're all individual. It's like a organism within a coral reef, that we all have individual needs and accomplishments and journeys, but it all comes down to benefiting the whole organism. And if each one of us play our roles in that way that resonates with us individually, we will provide the whole organism with pure energy. And that's really the game. This is the game that we're playing, is utilizing the energy that we feel within, making sure that's authentic and it feels right. And when it feels right, your energy is going to spread like fire, right? Giving that passion and igniting the energy of other people as well. And that's how you as an individual, when you're aligned It does matter. Your healing as an individual does matter, because on a frequency level, if you never look or heal any of the things that feel uncomfortable and trigger you, on a frequency level, you're always going to give out that frequency and surround yourself with people that match into that frequency. And then when you heal and you're helping others understand how to heal and shift the energy within as well, your vibration, your frequency shifts. Therefore, everyone around you on even a subtle level will also switch. And this is why it's so important to understand how to hold space, not only for yourself, but those around you, whether you're male or female, is because we all have come here, especially our generation, as majority of us really resonate with the term black sheep. We really resonate with indigo children, indigo adults, that we are here and operate very differently for a reason. Because we're the prime energy centers and holders to shift the energy that our society is in right now and rebalance what we know within is society is supposed to be different.
Teachings.
Yeah, society is supposed to be different. Society is supposed to be connected to nature. We're not separate.
Yeah, and even those that are disconnected from nature and themselves, they have this deep feeling that something is not right, and which leads them to addiction, or just continuing to go down that deep rabbit hole of division within themselves. But either way, they still know that it's like, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be living like this. I'm not supposed to be working a 9 to 5, which is nothing wrong with that. But I'm not supposed to be. At some point,
it served you, right?
At some point, it served you. But it's just like, you just know. The point is, you just know that something is off about how society is being so split and divided and controlling in a way.
Again, if you're looking at mammals,
we are the only mammals that pay for their food. We are the only mammals that pay for anything. We are the only mammals that pay to live on this planet.
We're the only mammals that don't understand the connection to ourselves, our planet, the elements, and ourselves on a organic wavelength.
And it's not really our fault to an extent, because the older you get, you're responsible for your own path. But when
I feel like it is your responsible if it's in your consciousness.
Yeah, exactly.
But if it's unconscious, then yeah, it's not really your fault. But once it turns to the point where it is conscious and you're very well aware and you're not changing anything, that's when it's at fault.
And that's when it's on you. And I can't tell you how many clients I worked with where it's kind of like they play the victim on them. I'm like, it's you. You're doing that. And when we are born, we are automatically still connected to spirit. It's only the conditioning from those before us, our living and past ancestors, that did not change the game, which is why you are the black sheep. You are born here to change that game. So when your children and your children's children are born, they won't go through what you have went through from ancestral line wise. Society is a whole different story, which once you break out of the ancestral conditioning, you can break out of the societal conditioning.
There's a reason why men follow the sun, why men get up early and have a linear structure to their day. There's also a huge reason why feminine, especially in the past, allowed themselves to flow non-linear and very flowy like the moon, because we go through all 4 seasons every month. Men don't go through that, and women shouldn't be forced to go through.
That we know of.
That we know of. I think there is a energetic seasonal shift with men as well. But women are forced to have our structure in a linear way like men. And we are now proving that our cycle is heavily, one of my really good friends, Jessica, I love you.
Shout out to Jessica.
Shout out to Jessica. That she always talks about how your menstrual cycle is the 5th vital sign. And back in ancient times, men and women were able to allow their understanding organically of their chemical structure. Does that mean if you're feminine that you have to be in that flowiness of the moon cycle? On some level, if you're operating out of your masculine energy, majority of your seasons, there's going to be some seasons where you do allow yourself to rest, right? But I would say majority of men and women have been stripped of their organic ability to flow with what their body's telling them, that we now are to the point we all just operate in a masculine way, which has really taken a toll on our ability to understand how to flow with our emotions, making them stagnant and stuck in our energy field, which just causes disaster.
And that's how society wants you to be, is to be so divided and stuck into not knowing yourself to the point where it's just you're dependent on them, which is the unhealed masculine. They want you to be dependent on them because they want to control who you are. And no, for those of the guys that are probably watching this, no, we're not targeting just the guy energy of side of things too. I mean, the unhealed feminine is also a huge thing as well. But the point is from what we are trying to explain is that once you are aligned and aware of both your masculine and feminine, that is when you will be able to step into the path of knowing thyself. You can know yourself from society standard. You can know yourself from your ancestral line. But once you are balanced, you truly get to know your purpose here, why you came here. And you cannot move forward if you don't know where your scale is from masculine to feminine energy.
Or how to communicate with them to be able to flow with them.
Exactly. Because you guys know that I'm a huge advocate of teaching people to know thyself. I love to see people reach their highest of highest self. And the one thing I always teach them is, or if they, have concerns, I always ask them, I'm like, where are you at in your feminine energy? Or where are you at in your masculine energy? And usually their answers are always, oh, I don't tap into that side, or I don't know. And that usually gives me the answer that they don't know what they want to do in life. Once you give yourself time to be soft, or to give yourself structure,
or even be neutral.
Even be neutral with it. That's when you can, everything will start to make sense. Everything will start to unfold with you, is when you are balanced with that divine masculine and divine feminine. And it'll be so much more easier for you moving forward, because people can try to move forward with just being masculine or just strictly feminine. Yeah, it can happen, but it's going to be hard for them, because you can only be so flowy for so long. You can only be so structural for so long. You're going to have a break from one of the two.
I think when we talk about, and what a lot of people are talking about, is expressing authentically, is really understanding how to utilize the masculine and the feminine energy as a dual pair, and lifting each other up and counterbalancing and utilizing each part of us in a way that flows. Because the masculine energy flows with the feminine, and the feminine energy flows into the masculine. And this is where authenticity comes from, because when you have them both balanced, and you are connecting with both aspects of yourself, of being disciplined, of having structure within your daily routines, even while you're flowing through each season, and allowing your emotions to flow, and understand that you don't have to understand your emotions. Your emotions are there to flow and to teach you things, but you don't have to sit there and ponder on what your emotions are telling you. And that the masculine energy allows us to create that safety into understanding how to allow our emotions to flow without getting so uncomfortable that you put them on the back burner, that they stay in your system longer than they need to. And this is where authenticity, and the word authentic to me comes from, is learning how to balance these parts of you so it flows and it's organic and it's easy, because you're utilizing the strength of the masculine, the discipline of the masculine, while you're flowing, and you're being genuine and soft with yourself while also being aggressive and firm. And that's authentic, baby.
100% authentic.
And this is us coming from a neutral perspective of understanding both, and again, take everything that we say with a grain of salt, because what resonates with us individually may not be fully resonating with you, but that doesn't mean you have to take the full piece of pie, right? You could take a piece, take a slice. Whatever resonates with you is your body telling you, I like this. I don't like all the other stuff. And that's okay, because I don't care. Because I know this is what resonates with me. And this is just us coming from our own ability and experiences of tapping into the energy of not only ourselves, but a lot of the clients that we see, of coming from a neutral perspective of expressing a lot of the stuff that we've experienced individually, and what we see a lot of people, especially as a collective, of the energy that we're in and where we all want to shift into.
Yep. Well, guys, thank you guys for joining
Thank you.
on this little video podcast. I don't know, I'm trying something new on this channel.
Something
You'll
fun.
most definitely see a lot more of this gorgeous lady right here. But if you guys want to connect with her, all of her information will be on the description down below, along with mine. And don't forget, if you guys are looking for coaching or breathwork or any type of spiritual resources, also click the link down below to my website. Now, we will be glad to help you out with that. But other than that, you guys be blessed and continue to know thyself.
Be blessed.
Peace.
Yeah. Cool.